Schneider Electric circuit breakers are specifically designed and intended to be self-lubricating. Every time you operate them, the linkages inside self-lubricate themselves as well as blow out the vent ports. If you have a large power switch and you do not operate the power switch, the lubricant in the movable contacts will become an epoxy, and they will not operate after 20 years of not being in use. So electrical equipment, as I said earlier, is never ever intended to not be turned off. You must turn it off and maintain it. And one of the parts is you have to make sure, if it's exposed components, you have to make sure they're properly lubricated and cleaned. I'm going to go through a list of 60 items. Actually, they're closer to 100, but I'm going to show you the 60 of the most common types of things that Schneider Electric performs and looks at during a risk assessment. We look at tap rule violations, very common violation. Unresolved nuisance stripping of circuit breakers. The most common type of nuisance stripping of circuit breakers is the ground fault function. The most common type of, the number one reason for having nuisance stripping of a ground fault protected breaker is neutral ground bonds downstream of the breaker. Usually about 70% of the time it's the results of neutral ground bonds downstream. Transfer switches, inadequate for the design. In many cases, the transfer switches are not rated for the available fault current that's available in the system. Misapplied circuit breakers and fuses, inadequate Kurd key, I should say, in some cases, no Kurd key interlocking with protective system. Single points of failure, disabled abnormal backup supply, a loss of control power, a power system design liability. For example, equipment systems have been modified over time and the system becomes unreliable over time. Loose connections, heating, arcing, and burnt insulation. Number 11 through 20. Inadequate grounding conductors. In many cases, specifically in older installations and including current installations in certain parts of the United States, the conduit is allowed to be used as the bonding and grounding means.